and show you a little bit of JetExpress. Again, as Dawn mentioned, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and type them in. If we have some time, we'll go through them during or at the end of the demo. Or if we run out of time, I'll make sure to follow up with an email this afternoon. First of all, just to give you a little background on JetReports. JetReports is the leading reporting solutions provider for Dynamics Nav. We currently have over 70,000 users worldwide with offices in over 50 countries, and we are a Microsoft strategic partner. Today what we'll be covering is JetExpress, which is our free product that was developed in strategic partnership with Microsoft and offers out-of-the-box ad hoc queries and financials for NAV 2009 and 2013. So for today's agenda, first we'll take a look at the running of and refreshing of reports, as well as where you can download and use our report player, and a little bit of refreshing and changing filters as well. Then we'll jump into some of the design functionality, first taking a look at our table builder tool for ad hoc queries, and we'll actually build a report using the table builder, both from a single table as well as a multi-table report. From there, we'll take a look at writing financial reports with JetExpress and an intro to our GL function, and we'll kind of wrap that up with actually creating a consolidated income statement. From there, we'll take a look at some resources and installation tips, and then we'll finish everything up with taking a quick look at Jet Essentials and Jet Enterprise, which are our upgraded versions. First of all, to talk a little bit about where you can download the software as well as some of the resources available to you. You can download the software at jetexpress.jetreports.com. So if I just go to that site here, this is what it looks like. This is our JetExpress Resource Center. The button to click to download it is right here, as well as some software requirements. Down at the very bottom, you'll notice some training and quick start materials. Everything that I'm going to go over today is available to you on demand here as well. In addition to that, up here at the top we have our Reports Library tab. In the Reports Library, one of the things that we do deliver with our entire line of products is what we call our Report Player. And what the Report Player is it's a repository of dozens of pre-built reports that can be used to kind of tweak for your organization. So first of all, let's take a look at refreshing a report and changing some filter parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a finished report that was created in JetExpress. So here we have just a fairly simple trial balance, again, that was created in JetExpress. So we have our account numbers, account names, some types, and then basically a balance for each of the months of the year. To refresh a report, all that you're going to do is up here in the upper left quadrant is click on this refresh button, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull up our report options. These are the different filter parameters that you can build into the reports, which I'll go over a little bit more later in the demo. So for example, if I wanted to see my 2013 trial balance, I just type that in there, click run on the report, and it goes back to the NAV database and dynamically updates the report to match those new filter parameters. So now let's take a look at what exactly the table builder is and how you can use it to build your own reports. So the table builder is a tool designed to pull data from one or more tables in NAV together directly in Excel in a way that enables meaningful formatting and graphing with pivot tables. So it's essentially taking this chart that we have here and then turning it into something more meaningful that can be refreshed using JetExpress like we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a blank workbook. and we're just going to use the table builder to design a quick report here. So up here on my Jet Ribbon, this may look a little bit different than yours. I currently have the full solution loaded on my computer. Actually, let me pull up what the Jet Express ribbon looks like. So this is what your ribbon will look like here. As you can see, mine has some additional functionality, which I'll go over later in the demo. But for this first tool, we're just going to be utilizing our table builder tool here. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and access my table builder. Now, once I've accessed the table builder, for this example, what we're going to build is an item class sales by month report. So in order to pull the data in for this report, we're going to want to go to the most detailed transactional table first. So for this example, I've got to turn off my favorites. For this example, what we're going to the table that we're going to go to is our item ledger entry table. Once we've selected the table, then we're able to select the different fields we'd like to have in this report. So let's go ahead and choose a couple different fields here. We'll grab the entry number, the posting date, and the item number. Once we've selected the different fields, then we can go down here to the bottom and select the different flow fields. If you're not familiar with flow fields in Nav, basically all they are calculated fields. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and we're just going to add a couple calculated fields here. Let's add the sales amount, actual, and then let's add the cost amount, actual. So once I've added the fields, one thing that I can do is up here where it's kind of laid out the report for me, I can change the names on any of these. So if I wanted this to be sales with a $, or cost with a $, I can change those. In addition to that, I can also rearrange. So if I wanted my cost before my sales, I just click and drag that in front of the sales, and now my cost is in front of it. I can also add any filters that I'd like. So to add a filter, I'm just going to make sure that I'm clicked on the table right here, and then I'm going to go over and select the Add Filter button. And so let's go ahead and add a filter for entry type. We're going to say where the entry type equals the sale. And I'm going to go ahead and add one more filter. And let's add a posting date filter as well. One thing that you're going to notice is this user-defined category. When I showed you a little bit earlier, when I refreshed the report, the report options or the filter parameters I was able to change popped up. This is where I would define what those report options are. So then let's just put in a date range here just so there's something for default. So we'll do the year 2006. And let's go ahead and make the posting date user defined. So now that we've pulled this kind of basic information for our report, let's say that we wanted to see the sales of items by item class and have the ability to add the item description. So this information doesn't reside in the item ledger entry table. In order to get the information in our report, what we're going to have to do is go to our item master table. And in order to add a second table to the report, all that I'm going to do is I'm going to click here where it says Add Table. And then it's going to ask me which table I would like to add. So I'm just going to select my item table. Once I've selected the item table, over here where it says the links, about 80% of the time, Jet Express is automatically going to recognize the link between the two tables. So in this case, the link is where the number equals the item number. However, if it doesn't automatically recognize the link, you simply define it on the common fields. So once we've selected our item table, we're just going to add the fields that we'd like. So I'm going to click on Fields here. And we're going to go ahead and add the item class as well as the item description. Once I've added the fields, again, we can rename them or reorganize up here at top. So if I wanted my item class before some of my flow fields here, as well as the description, I can just rearrange however I'd like my report laid out. From here, let's add a couple more filters. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on my item table here to add the filter. I'm going to add a filter for class. And then I'm just going to put in an asterisk, which is our wildcard symbol. And I'm going to make this one user-defined as well. So now once I have all of the information that I would like included in my report, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and click OK. Now when I click OK, it's going to ask me if I want to save my table builder template. Unfortunately, this functionality is not available in JetExpress. This is functionality that is only available in Jet Essentials that allows you to go back and change any of your table builder templates. So I'll just go ahead and click No. So now what this has done is it has written a series of Jet functions that have asked it to go back to the nav database and pull back the information that I've highlighted in that table builder report I just built. So now if I go up here and I click refresh on this report, it's going to pull up those report options. So these are those two user-defined report options that I had outlined in the table builder. And I'm just going to click run. And now it's gone and pulled the information from the table builder. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to want to begin formatting this in a meaningful way. So in order to do that, the first thing that we're going to do is up here on the Excel ribbon, we're going to go to the Insert tab. And we're going to insert a pivot table. And I'm just going to click OK. Now, once the pivot table is dropped into the Excel worksheet, we can just kind of select the different measures and dimensions that we'd like here. So if we wanted our item class in the rows, if we wanted our posting date in the columns, and then let's put the sales amount as our values. Can do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just group this so it looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click on any of my dates here and go down to Group. I'm going to group it by month. So now we have basically our whole year for 2006 with all of our sales amounts by the item classes as well as a total here at the end. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to add a graphical representation to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a column chart. And just put that right here. And then I'm going to get rid of the grid lines as well. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert some slicers. If you're not familiar with slicers, they're right here on the Insert tab. And basically all they are visual filters. There we go. So let's create a slicer for our posting date as well as our item class. I'm going to click OK. So now, once I've utilized the table builder to pull the data into the report, as well as some pivot table functionality, slicers, and a chart or graph, what I can do here is I can slice and dice this data however I'd like. So if I wanted to see only my data for the first quarter, I could select January, February, and March, and only for desk, G-chair, and S-chair. I can select those in the slicer, and as you can see, both the data in my pivot table as well as in the chart are dynamically updating. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is writing some financial reports. And to write financial reports in JetExpress, what we're going to utilize is what's called the GL function. Now on your Jet ribbon, it's just going to, on the JetExpress ribbon, it's going to say General Ledger like this. I'll have to go kind of a different way into it since I'm working with our full solution again. And just to give you an anatomy of what the GL function is, it's basically just a series of questions that you're going to answer. So when you open up the GL function, you're going to get a box that looks like this. It's basically going to ask you a few different questions. So the first question is what, and if you click on the arrow to the side, it's going to give you the option to choose budget, balances, budgets, debits, or credits. The next thing is account. So you can select a cell or a range of accounts that you'd like the balances, budgets, debits, or credits to be retrieved from. And then a start and end date. You can also choose any of your views. So these would be any of your global dimensions here, so department, project, as well as company. So if you do have multiple companies within your NAV database, you can filter on those as well. And then the last thing that the last question it'll ask is if you'd like it to exclude your closing entries or not. So let's take a look at building a report using the GL function. So here we have just kind of the bare bones of a financial report. We have a start and end period here at the top, a department filter. We have all of our account numbers lined here down the side in this column, as well as some account names. We have 4 different companies within our sample database here, and then finally a consolidated total. So in order to start building this consolidated income statement and pulling the data in from our NAV database, I'm just going to start out by clicking in this first column or our jobs category. So, and then I'm going to go to my Jet ribbon. Now again, I'm working with the full solution, so I don't have the general ledger button. So I'm going to go to our function wizard here. And then I'm just going to change this to a GL function for NAV. And again, here are those questions that I talked about. So the first question is what? And by clicking on the down arrow, we can select balance, budget, credits, or debits. So I'm going to go ahead and select balance. For the account, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use Excel cell referencing to reference the account. So I'm going to cell reference this account right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and lock it down. The start and end date, same thing. I'm just going to cell reference. End date. And then I'm just going to leave and I'll then I can decide whether I'd like it to if you do have multiple data sources, you can select your data source here to do consolidated reports across data sources. So once I've entered the information that I need for this report, I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Then I'm going to put a minus sign in front of this since I want my revenue accounts to be positive. Click OK. And then I'm just going to simply copy this formula that I just wrote over. Then for the consolidated total, I'm just going to go ahead and auto sum. So now we have all of our jobs revenue. And then it gets even easier. So once I have this, I'm just going to copy and paste everything down for my revenue accounts. Then I'm going to take this bottom row, copy, and paste. Again, just take this row, copy, and we'll paste that same formula down into our expense accounts. Now remember, because we utilize that cell referencing, we don't have to write the formula over and over again. It knows where to pull, which accounts to pull from, as well as which company. And one more time. So using the GL function, it really makes it easy to create these kind of very basic consolidated income statements, balance sheets, pretty much any type of financial statement. And as you can see, I did this in a very short amount of time. The thing that probably takes the longest is actually setting this up. But once you have all the accounts and names set up, pulling the actual data in is very simple. And the great thing about it is once you do have it set up the way you want, it's as easy as changing these dates and clicking the refresh button to refresh with the data that you need. Just going to jump back over to my slides. So again, just kind of a review of both the table builder and GL function and what JetExpress is. So JetExpress is just an Excel add-in that's meant for real-time ad hoc queries and financials. It's intended for Excel integrated financial reporting with NAV user level security, simple cell-by-cell level design of financial statements utilizing the GL function, ad hoc database queries from any table using the table builder, and really just powerful usability with minimal training. What JetExpress is not is full operational reporting, business intelligence and analytics, and reporting automation. These are all things that are available in our two upgraded products, which I'll show you a little bit of next. So the next step up from JetExpress is Jet Essentials. So Jet Essentials is more of a traditional reporting tool that's going to utilize the real-time data directly from your NAV database, similar to how JetExpress does. However, it's going to allow you a lot more functionality. The next step up from that is Jet Enterprise, which is our full business intelligence solution, which enables more of the dashboard type reporting. So first, let's take a quick look at Jet Essentials. So some of the additional features included in Jet Essentials are automation and scheduling. You're able to save those design templates that I was showing you earlier on the table builder. Auto formatting, advanced filtering, database drill down, drag and drop report creation, and the ability to save your favorite tables and fields. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a blank workbook here. Now, one of my favorite features of Jet Essentials is our browser tool. So utilizing our browser tool here, if I go ahead and open it, it's a great way to visually look at the tables and fields that we have within our NAV database. And what it's going to do is use intuitive drag and drop technology to be able to build reports very quickly and format them the way that you'd like. So as you can see on this left-hand side, I have all the tables within my database, and as I click through them, all the fields. So let's go ahead and build a quick customer sales report. So let's grab the customer name customer number. Let's grab their state, salesperson code, and sales amount. Once I've selected the fields I'd like included in my report, I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it into my Excel workbook. And I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my browser tool. Now what this has done is it's written a JET function for me that has asked it to go back and pull every single customer name, number, state, salesperson code, and sales amount. Clearly, in most cases, you're not going to want to see every single one. You're going to want to be able to filter on certain parameters. And in order to do that, I'm just going to go to my function wizard. And at the bottom of my function wizard, you're going to notice this area for filters. Here you can have as many filters as you want. So as you'll see, as I start adding them, another box will pop up below it. So if I wanted to filter for state, for example, select my state filter. And then let's say I only wanted to see customers in the states of Oregon and Washington. And then let's say I only wanted to see customers during the first quarter of 2001. So I'm going to go ahead and add a date filter. And then I'm going to say 1/1/2001 to 3/31/2001. Once I've added the filters that I'd like in this report, I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. So now when I go up here and I click refresh on the report, it's only going to pull the information to match those filter parameters. So only customers in the states of Oregon and Washington that had a sales transaction in that first quarter of 2001. So now I'm going to go back up here and jump back into design mode. So at this point I can really utilize Excel to format and add any additional calculations that I'd like. So if I'd like to add a commission calculation here, I'm just going to go ahead and add that. As well as any subtotals here at the bottom. And then let's do some formatting. So I'm going to make those accounting numbers. Let's go ahead and bold that, as well as add a little bit of color. I'm going to pull my fit over here just to make sure all the numbers fit in. Then let's just get rid of the grid lines. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a graphical representation. So I'm going to add a charter graph. So I'm going to grab the customer name and their sales amount, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a pie chart. Let's pull that over here. All right, so once we've done this, again, I'm just going to go back to my JET ribbon. I'm going to click refresh on this report. It's going to go back to the NAV database and dynamically update the information that I've asked. So as you can see, all of my calculations have been carried down as well through the data, as well as my subtotals, and my charter graph has been updated. So the browser makes it very, very easy to create ad hoc reports on the fly. Now, a couple other features that are included in JET Essentials are first the ability to drill down on the data. So using this, you can really see where the numbers in your reports are coming from directly in the NAV database. So if I click on any JET function within my report and click on the down arrow next to it, it's going to open up NAV, recognizing my security permission. So if you don't have access to finance or payroll or any portion of the NAV database, you're not going to be able to access it through JET reports either. So entering my security permissions. And at this point, we're working really within the NAV database, and you can work seamlessly between the two applications to see where the data in your reports is coming from. So here I have all of the sales transactions that have made up that number within my report. Another feature that's included in JET Essentials is the ability to automate the running of and distribution of reports. So up here on the JET ribbon, you're going to notice our scheduler feature. So using the schedule tool, users are able to run reports at a future time as well as distribute them via email. So if I go ahead and create a new task, and let's just call this customer report, I can then schedule how often I'd like it to run. So daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So let's say I wanted this one to run weekly. I can then select the start date and time as well as which days of the week I'd like it to run. So let's say Tuesdays and Thursdays. I can then select who I'd like this report distributed to. So I can type these in manually or select them from an Excel named range. And finally, I can select the output. Now remember, because Jet Reports is all in Excel, we don't necessarily have to have Jet installed on our computer in order to receive these reports. So in addition to a Jet workbook where the report will be able to be refreshed as well as you're able to drill down on the data, these can also be distributed as PDFs, web pages, or just static Excel files. So that covers the functionality of Jet Essentials and some of the additional capabilities it has as far as drilling down on the data, some additional report design functionality, and the ability to automate the running of and distribution of reports. Now let's take a quick look at Jet Enterprise. So Jet Enterprise is our full business intelligence solution. The great thing about our entire line of products is that they really build off of each other. So everything that you saw with Jet Express is included in Jet Essentials and Jet Enterprise. Everything that you saw in Jet Essentials is also included in Jet Enterprise. So Jet Enterprise, again, is our full business intelligence solution. And what it enables you to do is create more of this dashboard type feel. So some of the main kind of selling points on it are first speed. So all of your reports are instantaneous, and it gives you the ability to analyze trends and other analytics that you may not be able to otherwise analyze using Jet Essentials or Jet Express. In addition, any key performance indicators, those can be built into the dashboards, and really the ability to slice and dice the data any way that you like. So let's take a look at what a finished dashboard in Jet Enterprise looks like. So here we have a sales dashboard that was built in Jet Enterprise. In the center here we have some of our different KPIs. So we have a sales amount, profit, and profit percentage year over year, sales amount and profit by item category, sales amount by salesperson, and then a sales amount by one of our global dimensions. Around it, again, we're going to see some of the slicers that we discussed earlier with Jet Express. So for this particular report, we have slicers for both of our global dimensions, country, year, company, salesperson, item category, and product group. So now let's say that I wanted to see only my data for my North American company for the years 2007 and 2008. As you can see, as I'm clicking these slicers, all of my charts and graphs and these KPIs are updating instantaneously. So especially looking at this one where it's a sales amount, profit, and profit percentage year over year, this is taking a look at a very, very large amount of records within your NAV database. Whereas if you were to build a similar report in Jet Express or Jet Enterprise where it has to go back to the live NAV database and query that data, this report could take a very, very long time to run. However, since we're working with a full business intelligence solution here, all of this analysis is instantaneous. So let's take a quick look at what it takes to build one of these dashboards. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one last blank workbook here. And I'm going to go to my Jet ribbon. Now on the Jet ribbon, what we're going to utilize is this Pivot Table Cubes button. Now, with Jet Enterprise, one of the things that we do deliver is a pre-built data warehouse and 6 pre-built cubes for Nav that'll cover about 75 to 80% of what your organization needs. And the reason it's 75 to 80% and not 100 is because every Nav database is different. So those customizations do need to be brought over into the data warehouse. But these are the 6 pre-built cubes that we deliver, so finance, inventory, payables, purchase, receivables, and sales. So if I go to my sales cube, for example, it's just going to open up a pivot table. Now over here on the right-hand side, with the things that we can select for the pivot table, these are the different measures and dimensions that we can select that are housed in the cube environment. So the first thing that we're going to select is some different measures or the different values that we'd like to see in our report. So if I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage, I just click those there. And this is currently the number for all time within the NAV database, but we'll slice and dice on that in a minute. The next thing that we're going to select is the different dimensions or the things that we want to slice and dice it by. So for example, if we wanted to see this by customer, I'd go down here to Bill to Customer. Just click on Bill to Customer, and now I have a list of all my customers with the sales amount, profit, and profit percentage. Then if we wanted to see this year over year, I'd go down here to Posting Date, click on my Posting Date dimension, and now we have it year over year. In addition, next to the years, you also see these plus signs, so I can drill down by quarter, by month, or even by day as well. So let's go ahead and simplify this back up for a second. So I'm going to get rid of my profit percentage, get rid of all my customers, and get rid of my dates. So now we're back to just our sales amount and profit. Let's say I wanted to see our sales amount and profit by item category. Could select my item category dimension, and also by salesperson. Select my salesperson dimension. I can also, because we're utilizing pivot table functionality, rearrange these to group them however I'd like. So I wanted this by salesperson, then by item category, just switch those there. Again, I can drill down to see the individual items. Now, to really start getting to the dashboard type feel, again, all I'm going to start doing is adding some charts and graphs. So I'm going to go ahead and add a line graph here, as well as some slicers. So when I add a slicer in Jet Enterprise, it's going to give me access to all of the different dimensions I already have built into the back end. So I can pretty much slice and dice on anything that I want. So if I wanted a slicer for a year, I would go down here to year. If I wanted one for salesperson, I'd select salesperson. If I wanted one for item category, I'd select item category. Then I'd click OK. Let's reorganize these a little bit. So now, again, if I want to see certain data, all that I have to do is, if I wanted to see only the data from year 2011 for awards and recognition, bags and totes, caps and hats, and only for Annette Hill and John Roberts, I can select those within the slicers, and both my chart as well as the pivot table are updated. So now, really to get to the dashboard type feel that we have here, all that you're doing is you're adding additional pivot tables, some slicers, all connected to the back-end data warehouse in cubes. Jump back over to my slides here. So this pretty much wraps up today's webinar. It does look like we have a little bit of time left. Can I answer any questions for anyone?
Hey Alex, I had one come in through the question and answer queue here. It says, how many users can use Jet Reports at one time? The person who asked is experiencing a licensing issue right now.
Okay. With JetExpress, because it is a free product, you can download it on as many machines as you'd like. With Jet Essentials and Jet Enterprise, the way that we license the software is by designers and viewers. So when you initially purchase the software, you'll purchase a package with a given number, typically anywhere from 1 to 10 designers, and either a small number like 2 viewers and or unlimited viewers. And that's kind of the standard licensing that you purchase. From there, we also do offer add-on licensing. So if you do run into a situation where you do need some additional designers or viewers, then that is something that you can purchase after the fact. And if you are interested in purchasing more licensing for Jet Essentials or Jet Enterprise, then please email myself or sales.us@jetreports.com.
Awesome. He just came back and said that 2 people cannot access it at the same time. Is there maybe something in the settings, or?
So the designers and viewers are named licenses. So there is no ability for 2 people on the same license to access at the same time, unless you have them already licensed in one of your designer or viewer seats.
Okay, they're using JetExpress.
They're using JetExpress?
Yeah, and they have to log off one user before they can have another user come on. It looks like.
Okay, so then that's, if they're using JetExpress, then that's with their nav database. So what might be happening is you're maxing out on your number of nav sessions, because whenever JetExpress you need to connect to the database in order to query the information. So that's probably the reason why you're just maxing out on your nav sessions.
Another question here. On the consolidated income statement report example, is there a way to automate the pulling of the GL account numbers from the database?
Unfortunately, no, there is not. So you'd have to, let me jump back over to that. So you'd have to first kind of map it out with all of the GL account numbers, and then you can use Excel cell referencing to pull the balances. And probably the most time-consuming part of this report is actually setting it up how you want it to look with all the GL account numbers. Then once that is done, you have the ability to refresh the report, change the date ranges, that sort of thing.
Great. I'll just take another look and see if anybody else is typing. How do you get end balances for balance sheet accounts?
So that'd be kind of the same process as we went over on this. Here, basically, you'd set up just a balance sheet within Excel with the different account ranges, and then you could create subtotals of those account ranges that would give the balances for a certain date range.
Okay, is there a way to create your own KPIs? Can we create custom dimension attributes?
And I'm guessing this is in JetExpress he's talking about?
As far as I know, they don't mention whether it's what version of it is.
Okay. So in JetExpress, what you can do to kind of create your own KPIs is just use basic Excel formulas. So pulling in the data from your nav database and then using an Excel formula to manipulate it and create a KPI.
Great. That's all the questions that I had in the question log here, unless anybody else wanted to type one in and submit it. I'll just check the attendees for raised hands here quick before we do a closing. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. It looks like we have all of our questions answered right now. If you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out direct to Alex or your account manager, or anybody that you've been working with maybe in the consulting field as well should be able to help you out with some of your questions, but let us know. Alex, is there anything else that you wanted to close out with besides thank you? And we look forward to hearing from any of you that want additional information on the products.
Nope, that pretty much covers it. I'd like to thank everybody for your time today. If you do have any questions or would like to inquire about any of our promotions that we have going on right now or purchasing one of our solutions, please reach out to your account manager at Socius or myself.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Alex.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.